listeners and readers of AwardsWatch.com. This is the Awards Watch Podcast, episode 285. I'm your executive editor, Ryan McQuade. Joining us today, wow, he's actually on a podcast for once, is our editor-in-chief, Erik Anderson.
I'm a very, very busy person, very important, but here I am.
One of the, well, I don't know if either one of those statements is correct, but okay, sure. But yet you're here. Karen Peterson's with us today, too.
Hello.
And Mark Johnson.
Hi, everybody.
Getting the band back together. Let's go. All right. We're here to do a summer movie preview. And we usually do a summer movie draft. And this year, we're going to leave the drafting aside. Don't want to embarrass Erik again, for his team's bad picks. 2 out of the last 3 years. Just getting whooped, And
what was the final total last year?
It was like... We won by
It was actually very close.
Exactly.
It was like literal dollars.
We did win. However, it wasn't that.
Yeah. Ryan's
It wasn't a
trying to make
blowout.
me look bad in front of everybody, but we all know the truth.
Do we though? You still lost.
You fudge the numbers. You're like Variety covering sinners.
Oh Jesus. It ended with okay. I don't know if it was this close. We ended up with $2.3 billion and Erik's team ended up with I'm gonna round up and be nice. No, I'm not. $1.8 billion.
You know what? That was a long time ago. We're just looking to the future.
Right.
All right. All right, Mr. President, calm down with the real facts there, Oh, the numbers, they don't look good. Not for me, let me tell you. Anyway, we're here to talk about this year's summer, which starts in May and ends in August. That's the films that we'll be talking about today. We had a little bit of an argument, listeners out there, as to when it is. But everybody here remembered different times in when film was covered, when they actually covered the seasons, or rather cover blocks of time within the film calendar, right? Because that's what it used to be. Like what you're saying, Erik, you used to remember, like, what was it? Who said it off mic? But it was Labor Day weekend was the official end of summer, right?
Yeah, me and Karen. That was that in the 80s. Labor Day weekend was Memorial Weekend was the
Start.
the start, and Labor Day weekend was the end, and that was that. It was
That
school.
seemed-
It was all based on school, really.
That seems also kind of like coincidental by like the government and like when, holidays and stuff. Just putting that out there, a little conspiracy theory. But anyway, now it's early May because Disney Studios makes that a mandate. And then the fall festivals start right at the end of August, starting in September. So that's usually how everybody covers it from here on. We're going to break down each month. We're also going to talk a little bit about box office because that seems to be, like Erik kind of mentioned, on everybody's mind right now, obsessively, even though Sinners had a fantastic second weekend. The Accountant 2 did really good. And even Revenge of the Sith did well this weekend. Good for it. Maybe the idea of re-releasing movies in theaters and people want to go to actual theaters, Ted Sarandos. Anyway, we are going to start with the month of May, and we're going to talk about our films that we're looking forward to the most, the films that we think are going to make the most money, and so on and so forth. So, Erik, I'm going to start with you. Month of May literally starts next week.
Mm-hmm.
What are you most looking forward to seeing from the crop of releases? Big or small? Doesn't have to be big. Can be small.
Well, obviously, we're not talking about Cannes here because that would make
so don't bring it up.
pretty much all of these. But it's kind of a wonky looking May, and certainly as we were speaking, the Memorial Day weekend doesn't feel like a traditional Memorial weekend of releases. It's a little weird, but I think I'm probably what I'm looking forward to the most. Maybe finally killing Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. I think that
I was
might
gonna
be,
say.
kind of like crossing my fingers here
Yeah.
that this has all just been he's not actually alive right now. He's not going to be doing real press. It's just going to be a a deep fake of him. I don't know.
Okay. What do you have affinity for the Mission Impossible franchise, Eric?
I do. I do actually really like them. I'm just teasing the little man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You're
no, I do. I like them a lot.
Karen's guy.
Karen's on
I'm-
mute right now.
Karen's like, shut up, Eric.
She's like, I'm just gonna mute myself.
What was that? Eric's throat was just ripped out. Okay.
I would never.
Karen, I know you are looking forward to this. I am very much looking forward to it. I love Mission. You love Tom Cruise. I know you love Mission too, but Tom Cruise more specifically. Sad that this is potentially the last one.
No, I'm not sad about that. I think that it's been a great series of movies, but I think it is time to move on to other things. I am totally fine with this being the last Mission Impossible.
Excited that he's moving on from Mission Impossible to Inarritu.
Cautiously optimistic. I don't know. I don't know what that's gonna look like. I'm curious. And
Yes.
and let's be clear, when I say I love Tom Cruise, I love the persona on screen, not the man who I have never met. Just want to make that clear.
I don't know.
Whatever you say, Karen. Sure.
Whatever you
Too late to backtrack now, though.
I was
but-
9. I was 9. It started young, and you just don't move on from
No,
those.
you don't. No,
That
you
sounds
don't.
like a Scientology meeting. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God. Eric.
What?
Mark, have you seen a Mission Impossible? Well, you have thoughts on a Mission Impossible films. You've been doing rewatches, right?
Yeah, I've been doing the rewatch. I'm down. I just need to do Final Reckoning Part 1. Although it's not Part 1.
Dead Reckoning Part
Dead
1.
Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I
Final Destination.
Technically, it's
Dead
now
Reckoning, whatever.
it's now just called Dead Reckoning. They took the Part 1 out because they called this Final Reckoning. But if you have it on every Blu-ray, it's
right.
it's Dead Reckoning Part 1. Anyway, thoughts on the franchise, Mark?
Yeah, I love the franchise. I think the second one is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Sorry,
Okay,
Karen.
well,
I think we argued about this at one point somewhere
It's just
along the
wrong.
lines.
Mhm.
It's just really bad. But the rest of them are really good, and
Yeah.
they seem to get better as they go. Although I think the first one is still my favorite.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer.
Karen, going into it, what's your favorite one of the franchise so far?
So I hate that question because I think that what makes this
Sorry?
franchise so unique. No, I'm sorry. That's not shade at you. That's just I get that question a lot. And I think I don't like it because it's a hard question to answer because each film, other than the last couple, each one was so different from the others that it's like I really like the first movie a lot. I think it's fun. The second one, I don't think it's the best one. It's actually the least good, but I still enjoy it. But I think that each one just has something different and unique to bring to the franchise. And so I can't say that I have a favorite, really.
Fallout.
Oh, that's great.
That one's the one.
Yeah.
Though I
Hard to
do
argue that.
I do love the first one. I don't think that there's a bad Mission Impossible movie. Maybe that's a controversial take. I still think 2 was the first one I saw in theaters. And
You were like 8 when that came out. So
Hell
you were
yeah.
probably really impressionable.
well, it's and then
Easily impressed.
yeah, easily
Right.
impressed too. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
these doves. This is awesome. should have more. We should have
And
more
you pro-
movies
you
with doves.
You probably hadn't seen a John Woo movie, so none of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. No,
Mhm.
none of it made
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
But I was like, cool. Let's keep it going. It's all.
Yeah.
I liked it. And then I actually think for me the third one's probably the least, even though it's the most important to the franchise because of it reset the timeline and all the other films that had come and afterwards.
Best villain.
Yeah, best villain with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I like them all. This movie has a reportedly $400 million price tag upon it. Maybe that's why we're not getting another Mission Impossible because these, they are expensive to make. He did also. This is part of the COVID shoots that they had, as well as also the strike and reshoots and everything. And so he just kept people paid and employed, which is great, but also it means this movie has to make like $1.5 billion, $2 billion in order for it to justify its existence, or maybe just 1 billion in general. And it's going up against Lilo and Stitch, which is going to make a crap ton of money, right? I mean, I don't know what you guys think about the Lilo and Stitch trailer. I think the Stitch itself looks really good, and I think everything else around it is like it looks like a Disney Channel original movie. And
Yeah, but kids are not going to care.
I know.
They're not going to care that the girls are like 5 shades lighter than they are in the cartoon.
Yep. They're not going to care
And
that the alien people are like actual humans. Just go
Mhm.
around and Zach Galifianakis and who's the other
Billy
person?
Magnuson.
Billy Magnuson. Yeah.
Honestly, though, that like quick change moment in the trailer is super funny.
Um,
But yeah, the response to it has been really, really positive, which is kind of crazy because we're certainly in an era of
it's more positive than.
Disney live action remakes that are possibly ending
Well, I
now.
mean, the last Disney live action film didn't do particularly well, both at the
Yeah,
box office and in reception and
yeah,
PR and every
yeah.
facet of that movie did not do well this year. And it
Well, I
seems
mean,
like
I
they're
think
gonna,
Lilo and Stitch can bypass that pretty easily.
yeah, but Mufasa did really well.
Yeah, I made $800 million. So
Jesus Christ. For a
I
movie
mean,
that,
just
yeah,
you know, that's more than any Mission Impossible movies made.
that's true. That is true.
And that's what's crazy about that movie having that budget because Fallout is the highest grossing and the domestic for that is 220.
Yeah.
The worldwide is 790.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing that and a single person and it's really a single person has kind of that much power to be able to get a $400 million budget on a film that will absolutely not return that investment.
The thing, though, when it comes to talking about budget and box office and all that, that gets tricky is, and some like Ryan just made this point that a lot of that $400 million went into keeping people paid while they were not working. And so I think people go into a movie. I'm not saying you guys are doing this, but I think people hear, oh, this was a $400 million movie, and they go into it with the expectation that it's going to look like something much different, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be that
Yeah.
because it's that amount of money didn't go into making this movie. It went into just getting this movie to existence.
Honestly, saving this movie because they
Mhm.
still had to do reshoots and,
Yeah.
any film like this has to.
Mhm.
Every blockbuster does some sort of reshoots, whether it's just to touch things up or, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, any
Um,
tent poles are
exactly.
incredibly risky.
They are. But I also think too, I was thinking a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, well, Mission Impossible will do okay because the following weekend is like Karate Kid Legends, which probably will make a decent little chunk of change. And then really nothing else specifically until, and we'll talk about this until like June 13th when How to Train Your Dragon, the live action film comes out. And we'll talk about that, like I said, here in a second. But then it has Lilo and Stitch coming out the same weekend. And what happened with Dead Reckoning, part one, whatever you want to call it, is that it released one weekend and the next weekend was Barbenheimer. And it didn't have premiere IMAX screens. And because Nolan took those, he said, give me those, Tom Cruise. And so that's what hurt that, much less than like what happened with Indiana Jones, which is like that was a bad Cannes reception. The word of mouth for this thing is because it does premiere at Cannes and there will be the reviews there. And Erik and I will, not to brag, be some of the first, hopefully, to see it, is that they're hoping that this is a send-off, much like Top Gun Maverick, that this is a movie that can be around all summer. This feels like one of the spectacles of the summer. But Lilo and Stitch is going to be the alternative. If you can't get into either one, you're going to be able to do that. So I at least applaud the studios for these two films that are going to make a lot of money to stay on their weekend and not move and realize that like alternative programming is great. You know what I mean? It's what happened with Barbenheimer, where you have this 3-hour drama, you have this 2-hour comedy, and you're able to, both coexist and make a crap ton of money. I think they both will do fine. I don't think Mission Impossible will make, multiple billions, but I think it will do really good relatively, maybe back to Fallout numbers. Eric, because it is the final film in the franchise, and it's in May as opposed to like in July, where
it's going to
Mission's
benefit
done well there.
from being the only IMAX movie. It'll absolutely benefit from that, and IMAX is in just an absolute golden age right now.
Yeah, Mark, where are you at with Marvel?
In what regard?
In regard of just
like is
how far caught up on you on the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I've seen everything except for the most recent Captain America. I'm waiting for that to hit Disney streaming, which
didn't want to put that in. Didn't want to go spend the money on that. Huh?
I don't remember what was going on earlier when that was out. Was that during Oscar season?
Yeah.
I probably just didn't have time to see it. So I also don't know that it looks that great. And
Mark was just screaming, "Not my Captain America!" And I was like, "What are you doing, Mark? You can't do that." And it was like a lot on Twitter. Right. You know what I mean? It was a lot of just stuff you can't say.
Pretty much everything after Endgame has been a little bit of a disappointment. So it's kind of like one of those, I'm not going to prioritize.
So where are you at with anticipation for Thunderbolts, which comes out?
I'm kind of excited about Thunderbolts, though. It does look decent, and from what I'm hearing, and I know some people have seen it, it's a little darker version of Marvel, I guess. And I'm always, bring on the darkness. And Florence Pugh. So
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Eric, are you looking forward to? You see this tomorrow, right? Karen, you see this tomorrow? I see this tomorrow. Mark, do you see this tomorrow?
Really,
I do not.
I'm really looking forward to it. They're not screening it in Ohio, so they don't consider it a state. So
I think I'm in Denver next week, so I don't think I was able to go. I think they are screening it, and I just wasn't able to go.
Wow, did you hear? Well, let me pick up that humble brag right off the floor. I'll be in
Is
Denver
that a brag? I mean, your guys are going to Cannes. I'm going to Series Fest, so I think you win. But
I'm going to my job.
Right. Karen, you win employment. There you go. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think that it honestly is like the epitome of everything that's been going on with Marvel right now, where like they are just trying to they're throwing their television characters and like their spin-off characters into this group thing to make, them relevant. But I think their more important film is in the back half of this year. But I think this movie is going to make a good chunk of change because it's the first movie of the summer. And unlike Fall Guy, it's an existing IP and it's within Marvel. And so I think they will do pretty well. And yeah, word of mouth's been good. I mean, and also Mark's girl, Florence Pugh, has been getting rave reviews. Louis Pullman's been getting great reviews. Yeah, Karen.
So you're saying that Nicolas Cage's The Surfer isn't going to be a huge box office challenger to Thunderbolts?
No, because I saw it at South by. It sucks.
Forgot about that. I mean, forgot about that one.
It's a 90-minute movie that feels like 3 hours. Karen's you're gonna be seeing it and reviewing it for the website, Karen, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yes, tomorrow's gonna be a late night.
It's gonna be a late night.
Review embargo is Tuesday.
Karen,
gotta love those Disney review embargoes.
Yeah, you gotta love how
that are less than 12 hours.
Well, yeah, you gotta love how they had like a secret, or not. I guess it wasn't a secret, but they had like a fan event to screen this movie a week ago. Wouldn't let me in as press. Wouldn't let some people in as press. Just so that you could pay a ticket to see this movie so you could beat the review embargo and not have to sleep in the middle of the night. But Karen, are you looking forward to this one as well?
I am. Yeah, I am. I like these characters. I'm curious how they're all going to work in a movie together, but I like all of them. And it's interesting to see a movie that has a character that we saw once years ago, Ghost, show up in a movie with characters that we are still that we recently met or have seen a lot with like Bucky, Elena. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think so
hope
too.
It's going to be.
I hope it will be as well. But also a little bit of me is like, maybe not. I don't know.
There's always that.
There's always a little bit of like
this might not go so well. But.
And there's always a little bit of like, good. Yeah, a little bit for Marvel. Sorry, and not a Marvel hater. I just was like, I don't know. Maybe we can make other films. Horror is a big thing as of right now. May has Final Destination Bloodlines. That's like one of your favorite franchises, right, Eric? You love the Final Destination movies, right?
I love the Final Destination movies, and I'm not even like a millennial, but yeah, those are I love them. I think
Is
they're
that a
fantastic.
requirement?
Well, no, it's not, but I mean there is it's such a culture point.
Mhm.
The sequence on the freeway and the logs
Yeah.
is such a it is a pop culture moment that kind of lives, I think, in anybody that was teenager to adult in the 2000s. I mean, people still will like take a picture of a logger truck if they're driving behind it, which is stupid and tempting fate,
Yep.
uh, because of it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Megan
So
literally
I-
changes
cool.
lanes every time. My wife changes lanes every time there's like a logger truck.
But see, if you know
I
how Final
change
Destination
lanes.
works, changing lanes is not going to help
It's
you.
not going to help you either way.
Like, I won't
Get
drive
off the
behind
road.
any truck with any sort of load. I'm always like, nope,
Nope.
because I
That metal's going to go right through my glass.
Exactly.
Nope. Not going to do it.
I used to practice ducking in my car in case something came through the windshield and I could like move over in time to the passenger
Yeah.
seat.
Well,
I'm
we
not
laugh,
even
but
kidding.
that's smart.
That
is,
was
yeah.
the impact that it had. I was like,
Right.
oh my God, this is a horror movie, but what if this happened?
Well, Eric, you
Mhm.
just for that practice, Eric, you just have to remove the box you're sitting on in order to,
Oh.
The booster seat.
the booster seat. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have to admit to never having seen any of the Final Destination
Oh,
movies.
Mark,
but
sounds like a deep dive.
maybe, but to show what Eric's saying about that pop culture moment, like I even know what he's from all the trailers.
I
and
know what
stuff,
the kids
he's
are
talking
saying.
about.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't seen
I'm
any of them. They
down.
just listen. I have such a hard time sometimes with like the torture death movies.
Mm.
So I don't know. I just haven't gone to them, but maybe
What-
maybe I'll spend some time.
What I love about the Final Destination movies, though, is that it's not a person. There's not like some bad person that's torturing people for the fun of it. It's death itself. And that's such like that just makes it even scarier because how do you stop that? How do you fight against something that does not have a physical form and can just manipulate your environment around you? It's like there's so much fun for that.
No,
It really is. I love when it's just this funny like series of events. It starts to look like Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he
Yeah.
makes his breakfast, where it's like it doesn't matter. It's
Right.
it's a
All these
slip on a
chain
banana peel,
reactions.
but it's just chain reactions and just
Right.
horrifying stuff. I think
So you
about
would
that giant
recommend-
I think about that plate of glass that like smashes that poor head. Like I
Oh
think
my
about
gosh,
that
yes.
all the time.
Yep.
It's insane.
I don't know if I want these thoughts. That's the thing. But
No,
should
you want the Mark. You want them.
you guys would all recommend.
You
watching
just
them?
said you like the darkness.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
I like a different.
I think but Mark,
okay,
they're
yes.
I know that we're all like, but they're also very silly. They're very silly movies. Just in like,
Okay.
these are
what I
movies not
gathered.
to take serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless
okay.
you're driving, which is,
Yeah.
We're still in
Or if you
May.
drop something
We
down the
haven't
garbage
even-
disposal.
Oh,
Is there
so
any-
move to June?
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to talk about in May? I know that there's Bring Her Back, which is the follow-up for the directors of Talk to Me for A24. That looks like
Yeah,
a very gnarly horror film. Also,
It was a modest hit.
It was a modest hit. Bleeding into June is a movie that will premiere at Cannes. It will release in limited May 30th, but it will expand the first week of June, and that is the new Wes Anderson film.
Before we go into that, though, I just wanted
Just
to put in
kidding.
a quick plug for another May movie. It's going to be a small movie.
Okay.
It's from A24, and that is Friendship, which comes out the 9th.
Yes.
That one is so funny and so disturbing and so cringy how relatable it is.
Tim
So-
Robinson and Paul Rudd, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Was that it was that Toronto last year, and then it was at South by earlier this year. I wasn't able to catch up with it, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's
Yeah.
one of the films I was not. I love Tim Robinson though.
I saw it last week and it's great.
All right. Erik, Wes Anderson. He's got a new movie. Excited about it?
It's going to make $15 million.
Which is good relatively for him.
So,
Yeah.
congrats.
15, 20.
Congrats.
Because he's got his own like following now. Like even Asteroid City did pretty good. for
Yeah,
itself.
I am excited to see Kate Winslet's daughter and see what that's about.
We're really in a Nepo season right now.
When are we not in a Nepo season?
The Pit is like literally everybody. I was like, that person's related to something. Oh, that one. But they're all very good. That's not saying anything bad against or saying, some if you're good, you can stick around. If you're not, then name a bad Nepo baby. I mean, there's probably
Jamie Lee Curtis.
There you go.
Whoops.
Did you let me pick that name?
Oh, I thought we were just naming. Okay.
Oh, I thought we were just naming people. Okay.
All right.
But you're looking forward to
That'll
this
come later today.
Where are you guys, Karen, Mark? Where are you guys at with the later Wes Anderson films? Because I feel like there's a contingent of people that haven't liked his recent outings, and a lot of this seems like post Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Is Mark? Are you one of those?
It's been hit or miss, I think. Post Grand Budapest, I'm a huge fan of early Wes, like Rushmore and Bottle Rocket, Tenenbaums, all those.
Yeah.
So I think his best stuff is his early stuff, but I still enjoy pretty much every other than maybe what was it called, the Darjeeling Limited, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty much other than that one, I've enjoyed pretty much everything he's done. But yeah, I think since Grand Budapest, which I might say is his best, it's been kind of up and down.
Karen?
Same. Yeah. I enjoyed The French Dispatch. I liked Asteroid City a lot. I think they're good movies, but I don't think that they are at the same level as like Grand Budapest, certainly not Royal Tenenbaums, I just, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like Wes Anderson. I will probably like this one too.
Asteroid City made $53 million, which is crazy.
Well, it's his best in what, a decade?
No, well, yeah, I mean, I guess.
Maybe.
Though I liked French Dispatch a lot. I don't think Wes has made a bad movie. I just like there's a little bit with like Mission Impossible where it's like I don't necessarily like these as much as I like this. I really liked Asteroid City. I thought it was wonderful. He's coming off of winning also the Oscar for Henry Sugar and all those shorts, which good for him. It looks like a great cast. And Del Toro's like the lead of this one, hopefully, which looks great. And
clearly the lead.
And he's wonderful in French Dispatch. So
he's fine.
He's working with the Andersons this year. He's working with Wes and Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Movie that premiered at CinemaCon, and everybody put out their masterpiece tweets about it, was the How to Train Your Dragon live action film.
I think it was the only film that did show in its entirety, right? Everything
I believe so, which is
bits and pieces.
Yeah, it feels like every year they're getting less and less to show movies and more just presentations, like how it's supposed to be. I mean, it looks exactly like a carbon copy of the animated film. Right. I don't know why people are so, I mean, like, yes, the toothless animation again, like Stitch, looks great, but even having Gerard Butler, it's just going to make me think of the first film, which is a great animated film, and this movie just looks like a cash grab, right? Yeah. Okay.
No, so I'm on the other side.
Of course you are.
I am totally pro what this is doing as a live action, even shot for shot. I think it's actually exactly what you should do for a live action. I think the Lilo and Stitch is exactly what you should do for a live action, where you have basically a single animated character in a world of real people. I love that. I think it looks great.
Yeah, will.
I can't wait for it.
It's going to make a crap ton of money. Karen, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
It's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, it will. And like I'm not particularly interested in it myself, but I know that this last trailer that they just released, people that I know that were like, yeah, I don't know why they're doing live action. They saw that trailer and suddenly they're like, oh, now I actually want to see that movie. So I yeah, it's gonna do well.
That music
think.
doesn't hook you though. That music is
Oh yeah, because that music's wonderful.
Go ahead, make me cry. Do it.
I do think that if we were doing a box office draft, this would be one of the films I consider at the top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has the IMAX screens. It's June 13th. Nothing, I mean, the Pixar film comes out the following weekend, but it will still have good runway nonetheless. Until probably July when Jurassic World comes out. So I think that would have been a really good pick. And it's going to do very good internationally as well too, depending if it gets to an international release in certain areas. Karen, is there a June release that you're looking forward to that you're highly anticipating?
28 years later.
Yeah, that trailer. I watched that trailer. It was in front of Sinners, and that is a tense looking trailer. It's I gotta say I'm looking forward to that thing.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the first. I don't know when the even came out, but I saw the first film. Kind of, my brother pushed me to watch it, and I just thought it was so great. And then when the second one came out, I think that this world is so interesting, and I think what I liked about it was that it was, the better zombie type movies are the ones that really get into not just the horror of the zombies, but the psychology and the sociology of the people who have not yet been affected by it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really, really curious to see how that idea will translate to people living on an island that have been dealing with this for, almost 3 decades. So I think that's the one I'm really looking forward to.
Sony's got to get this movie back out on physical media and on digital, because you can't rent it and you can't stream it anywhere. The first one, and they need to get on that ASAP.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
They have to, just so that we can refresh everybody out there, because 28 Days Later is a great film. 28 Weeks Later is okay, but I'm looking forward to this. Mark, you 28 Days kind of guy?
I just watched 28 Days Later last night, actually, because as I mentioned about the Mission Impossible movies, as I get older, I need to remind myself what the hell happened. It's been a couple decades, really.
What's your name? What did you have for breakfast yesterday? Yeah,
those are too tough of questions.
We gave you 5 words at the beginning. Do you remember what they were?
What? Oh, that's
and great. The password is. Oh.
I can't believe you're still Alicing Mark. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, but I do love 28 Days Later, and I don't remember much of anything of 28 Weeks Later, so I'm going to be watching that again too. I've probably seen 28 Days Later 5 or 6 times. I think 28 Weeks Later was a one-time watch.
I think there'll be a good Quiet Place kind of box office success. Mark, is there something you're looking forward to in June that we haven't mentioned already?
Is F1 June? I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, F1 is high on my list of what I'm.
Mark likes cars that go vroom vroom. Yeah,
and I don't. I'm not a race car guy or anything like that, but I do love Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem together. And my son's 2 favorite movies right now are Fight Club and No Country for Old Men. So I'm here's a movie for you.
You might need to show him a Nancy Meyers movie or something.
I was going to say, name a woman director.
Name a woman, just any woman
in those films. You know what I mean?
Karen Peterson. But those. So F1, I think, is one that I'm excited about, and
Carrie Condon too, if I'm not mistaken, is in
it. Carrie Condon's in it. Yep.
She looks bad in it.
She looks bad.
She does. Yeah, her accent sucks.
The wig too. Yeah,
well,
whatever she's doing there. It's just from Joseph Kosinski. This is trying to rebuild trying to make us all feel the Top Gun Maverick vibes. Bruckheimer producing as well. Yeah, this movie can be really good. It could also just be very, middling. It's
I think it's gonna be good.
it cost a lot, so it needs to make a lot too. This one, Karen, unlike Mission Impossible, I don't know if there's a caveat for this one. It's extremely expensive. Apple financed it. Warner Brothers is distributing it in theaters, so we shall see how this plays out. I think the film that I'm looking forward to the most in June is Celine Song's Materialist. I think that that's the film of the month for me. I'm just so curious from that trailer, which I really liked. I'm so curious what this film is going to be. I actually think that trailer is not what the movie is going to be like in terms of tone, which I think is great. I think it's going to be nice to see Chris Evans in good meaty material. Dakota Johnson, when she's given good stuff, I think she can be very good. Pedro Pascal. I have no reason to doubt Celine Song at this moment, so why would anyone else as well? She made one of the best films of 2023, one of the best debuts of the last 20 years, I think, in past lives, and so she's got all the benefit of the doubt for me. Mark, you didn't like it?
I loved Past Lives. That's a great movie.
The trailer?
The trailer. I thought.
Here he goes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mark likes movies. Mark hate women. That's what. That's what we're here. Yeah.
Stop it. No, I just thought it looked fine. I don't know, but that's she may not be going for something as deep as Past Lives, so that's fine. Like, I'll definitely see it. I'm looking forward to it, but
Karen, you looking forward to Materialist?
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer. To be the polar opposite of Mark, I saw the trailer and went, "Oh, I'm sure this movie is going to be my top 5 at the end of the year."
When are we polar opposites? Come on.
It looks beautiful.
It looks really good. Erik, Elio, Pixar's new film.
So I'm gonna also
we don't have time for you to talk about Materialists.
The way that you just ask everybody and then I'm
skip you
afterthought.
Correct.
Swear to God.
Who are you?
No, I think it's going to be great, and I also think the trailer is intentionally subverting tone. I'm excited. It
helps having a Madonna song in the trailer and everything too.
I'm easily swayed.
Well, okay, now we know.
Yeah, now we know
that happens. And I know that Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal are not going to hook up in this, but
we can hope.
One can dream.
Can hope.
What a twist!
It'll happen.
You never know.
But no, the other I'm obviously looking forward to as a gay is Megan 2.0.
Oh,
that's what I want to. That's what I want to see, and it going up against F1 is going to be really funny because there is a world
where that makes more money.
It opens better, because it was already a surprise hit, and now it is. Speaking of just pop culture phenomenon, it's or femininomenon, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say the trailer femininomenon. Yeah.
There is a potential for it to be for its opening to be like the entire run of the first.
Yeah, it could be very sneaky. I really agree. And those movies are made pretty cheaply, but they're also going for like a Terminator 2 Judgment Day vibe for it.
Yes,
it looks very fun. Very fun.
I can't wait.
I hope they go a little harder with some of the kills.
I don't think it's going to be above a PG-13, and even the uncut version of Megan was so modest with the gore.
One F word,
I think, and that too. I think it would be cool if the kills were a little more graphic.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got the fan base in there now.
There's room for PG-13 gore that is actually kind of fun.
Yeah. Like I said, Pixar has Elio, which looks absolutely fine.
It's gonna make Elemental look like a box office fucking achievement.
Oh, I think it'll do okay. It's kids movies right now are doing so well.
I have seen trailers for Elio. I've seen other stuff. I cannot for the life of me tell you right now one thing about that movie.
That's fair. But I also think too, I just think that kids movies and horror movies right now are just, parents want them. They need them.
In terms of box office, sure. I think it'll make some money. It's
in terms of
gonna
a
do
good
fine.
movie?
In terms of like, where is this going to land in Pixar's, film, like in their list of, like, I don't know. And I can't tell you who the voice actors are. I can't tell you what the story is supposed to be. This movie just feels like, oh, is that really coming? Like, I don't know.
One of them has,
I believe it's Academy Award winner Zoe Saldana.
Exactly. And everyone's favorite from Everybody Loves Raymond, Brad Garrett. So I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. But I think that it looks very mid-tier. It looks exactly like a Pete Docter creation of just uninspired visually and story, pretty much what we've seen before, but it's intended to make a crap ton of money. I
would tell parents, take your kids to the Materialists instead.
Or Megan 2.0.
Or Megan 2.
Either way.
Or 28 years later.
Yeah, you know what?
There's
the
a child
one.
in that.
That's
There's
the
a
one.
kid in that.
Back to just June 6th real quick. The Life of Chuck, which is the Mike Flanagan film that won the TIFF Audience Award winner. That movie is coming out in June 6th, which is a weird place to dump that.
The same day as Ballerina.
I was just going to say Ballerina. Talk about a movie that
doesn't need to exist.
Right. That, and I don't know if that's going to make a ton of money. And depending on budget, I might have even considered it as a dark horse for a bomb pick. I don't know. I think it'll do modestly well. I don't think it's going to be a huge success, but I think it's going to do okay. Yeah. I mean, just kind of sticking it in between the third and fourth John Wick film and like having him show up for one scene. What are we doing? And they just announced that they're doing John Wick 5, right? So
yeah, it's very I don't know, like when Mandalorian popped up in the Boba Fett show. It's like we have to do it.
We have to do it. We got to get him in there.
You have to do it. It's fan service bullshit.
A movie that premiered also at Sundance. It's going to have a screening at Cannes, and the director Fortnite is Sorry Baby. That actually releases in limited theaters at the end of June. One of the Karen, you saw the Sorry Baby too.
I did not.
You did not get to see it.
I was not able to see it.
Really good movie. I don't think it's. Erik really loved it.
I loved it. Loved it.
I was very sad that I missed it.
It was very good. So one of the better indie films of the year releasing. All right, on to July. It's time for a rebirth. Jurassic World.
Is it though?
Oh, I thought you meant the Smurfs. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that too. And Jonathan Bailey in Universal. They had a hit last year. Can they keep the trend in the summer? Who's ready for another Jurassic World? Huh?
Oh, I am so deep embedded all the way in the pocket for this, all the way 100%.
Why?
But it's only because of Jonathan Bailey.
I was just gonna say there's got to be a reason for this.
Only because of that. And it's not that I think that he's playing, the fucking kid from Jurassic Park. Although they're clearly want you to think that, but I don't think that's the case. But I just want everything for Jonathan Bailey. I want him to be a straight lead, a gay lead in a blockbuster, in a TV show, in a movie, in anything. I want everything for him. I love him. He deserves it. And yeah, I mean, I hope he's gay in this, but it's not like it would be Jurassic Park gay, which would just be like talking about his husband back at home, and then that's it.
Well, he wasn't Wicked, So,
well, I mean,
yeah. So,
technically bi.
Yeah, Karen, go ahead.
Well, what I want to say, so I mean, I always hope that movies are good, even if I don't think that they will be. And like, I think that this franchise is kind of like it ran its course and then it ran into the ground and then it kept going. And I think
That's
that
why this is a rebirth.
well, and that's the thing. Like, I hope that this is a fun movie that I can enjoy. I'm going into it like,
Yeah.
I also love Jonathan Bailey. I want only good things for him. And so if this is one of those good things, then I am here for it. Do I think it will be? No. Do I think it's going to make a lot of money? Yeah, because this franchise makes money.
This is always when during any of our drafts, this is if you don't pick a Jurassic World, what are you doing? Because they don't make $1 billion.
People love dinosaurs.
I was going to ask you guys because I had my rankings ready in case we were doing anything with that, and this is what I had number 1.
Really?
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Oh wow.
This would be my first pick.
I would have put it in a mid pick, like a second or third, because it doesn't have like the nostalgic factor, or it doesn't have Eric's favorite. It doesn't have like the nostalgic of the old cast. I mean, and it doesn't have Eric's favorite actor Chris Pratt in it. So it is entirely.
That's like
that's
real
pretty
thing.
big, right? That's a real. I'm not I'm not trying to joke around. Like, he's a movie star,
Well, he was.
Well,
but that was peak Pratt period, though.
Yeah, he had that in Super Mario.
So, but I will take Jonathan Bailey and ScarJo over Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt any day of the week.
Well, Mahershala.
Yes,
I'm excited about Mahershala. If anything's going to get me in the door for that movie, it's to see him in something.
I mean, if he can't do Blade, I guess it's this.
Well, yeah. I mean, like.
So if Jonathan Bailey is young Timmy, or old Timmy, do we think that maybe Mahershala is Samuel L. Jackson's?
No.
Like nephew?
Not everything has to connect. Don't do that, please, for the love of God.
If he says, "Hold on to your butts," I'm going to be in completely at that point.
No, this is where we are though in any age of sequels or nostalgia. There is going to be a connection. I fully believe.
Well, what was the connection in Jurassic World? The first Jurassic World with Chris Pratt? Was it just the island?
None. The island.
I just think now. No, I'm thinking specifically with this.
Oh, okay, okay.
Something's up.
All right.
Okay. I think so too.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 big movies this month. They are the 2 biggest movies, in my opinion, in terms of what they're going to do for their respective companies, and that is Superman
the Smurfs
film
musical.
It's coming back to Smurfs.
It's coming back to Smurfs. Okay, you know what? Let's go to it. You know what?
I'm not putting out an album.
You know what? I'm putting out a musical. I mean, the Smurfs movie is going to make what? $5, $10?
Do you want to know how much the Smurfs movie from like 2011 made?
How much? Do you have it?
142 million domestic, 563 international.
Jesus Christ.
That's pretty good.
Didn't they have sequels though, and they started deteriorating though in terms of not quality, because there was never
were
quality.
Any of them good?
Yeah, but like in terms of box office, like they went down.
It will probably perform. I mean, because what I did is I made this list and I made comps for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
to kind of like to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So the comp for this is probably much closer to the Garfield movie last year.
That's fair.
Which was still like 91,257. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. Superman.
Yeah.
This would be one of the trickier picks, I think.
Absolutely.
It's going to have a big price tag on it. It's just Superman in general. James Gunn, this reboot of try to talk about a rebirth. The whole DCEU is banking on this movie. Yeah. And the online reactions have been like all over the place. I think the movie looks fine for what we have. There's all these like why we haven't heard dialogue yet from him and all these other things. I don't care. I think it's going to be fine.
We've heard dialogue.
Good. From Superman himself?
Yes.
Have we?
Yes.
Well, other than Crypto Take Me Home?
Wait. Is that not dialogue?
Well, like more than just being like, take me home. But we don't know what the plot of the film is. We don't know what any of the connection of the other characters. It seems like they're putting a lot of people in this film and making a universe as well as also a Superman movie. It seems like a lot, but James Gunn's got this 20 film vision, it looks like already. How do you guys think it's going to do?
I mean, this is a hard one to rank because if it's good, I think it'll be number one by a mile, right? Like, I mean, it has everything it needs to be number one now.
I don't think
But
so.
No
You don't
way.
think? If it's really good,
Like if it's
Not
good,
even-
it get good
not even-
reviews.
Not even the
Okay.
peak Zack Snyder era is able to beat Jurassic movies. So
Yeah.
no,
okay.
What did Man of Steel
Okay.
make, Eric? Do you have a comp? Do you have that?
I do. Yeah, the comp for Man of Steel, let's see. 291 domestics, 670 international.
Okay, but
Um,
how about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, Guardians
well,
of the
I-
Galaxy, each
I-
one of them
I
make
went-
$1 billion. You know,
And
Yeah,
well, and
the-
that's the thing. I recognize that is Marvel and
Yeah.
not DC, and this is different characters, but I think the James Gunn factor is really important and cannot be ignored.
I think it's going to be a weird thing because fanboys are really just rabid people, and this isn't Zack Snyder. So there is constantly online just
Mhm.
a rebuking of this because it's not. And
I
and
agree,
James
but
Gunn
there's
is a
also
pretty online person.
yes, there's and that's the thing.
Um,
There's a lot of fanboys that will see it just because he did it and they loved what he did with Guardians. They loved his work in Marvel, and so they are excited to see what he's going to do with this. So I think, yeah, you're always going to have people that are mad and people who are. It's just who's going to actually be the ones to show up. Who's going to actually
Yeah.
like? Are they going to watch it?
I think
I
it
don't
is
know.
potentially just a really up in the air.
Mhm.
Any type of like floppage for it would be pretty devastating, obviously. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean anything less than probably,
6.
I mean, domestically, less than 250 would be pretty rough for it.
Mhm.
But anything more, I will absolutely give Skylar Gassando all the credit for
Yeah.
as Jimmy Olsen, because that's why people should be going to see this.
But if not, you're going to blame Rachel Brosnahan because I know you.
No, that would be Mark.
Oh, that
do
would be. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that it's a tricky one. It is a very tricky one because James Gunn also had The Suicide Squad, which didn't particularly do really well. But then Peacemaker did really well word of mouth from that, building off that momentum on Max. He has the trust of Warner Brothers to do this. I think Eric's right, though. There's these annoying Snyder bros that are going to try to dismiss this movie. I think Corn Sweat looks really good in this part. And I think that this was the right casting. And I think it's going to be I'm hoping it's a good movie because I want a good Superman movie. Like who doesn't want one of those? Because we get 1,000 Batman movies all the time. I would like a good Superman movie, and I didn't like Man of Steel. I haven't liked a Superman movie in a long, long, long time. So
Superman Returns is the last good Superman movie.
and even that, like
It was great.
and
But
it didn't
there's-
particularly
there's-
do well. I don't remember at the box. Like it wasn't.
It did okay. It was
yeah.
like 200. It did
Yeah.
for the time. It actually did pretty well.
It has the IMAX screens. It has 2 weeks to run before Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. Like I think I think it could do well, and I think if they build it up the right way, they're going to go full out blitz. And I mean, Warner Brothers, while they had that shaky couple of months ago, they're now sitting on top with Sinners having great word of mouth and great box office success story there. They have Minecraft, which has done gangbusters.
They're
So-
lucky they have Minecraft because they have 3 massive price tag movies
Mhm.
this summer
Yep, and they need
and early fall.
yeah, and early fall. There you go. But I think this one will be a good start for them. I don't think it, but I agree with Karen though. I don't think it's going to do like billions and billions and everything, but it could be like Guardians where it has a good word of mouth. If it's good, if they say, oh, James Gunn did a good job and he stuck the landing and he's good as Superman. And it also can get kids to the theaters because it looks more playful than a Marvel film or like or the last Guardians movie, which was like brought to you by Xanax. So, and that movie made a crap ton of money. So,
it was also really good. Yeah,
it was really good, but it was
really good.
It was dark as hell, Karen. I remember watching that movie and be like,
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ, how did they take their kids to see this?
Yeah, but hasn't that kind of always been the barometer for a Marvel movie and a DC movie is like just the photography
Mhm.
darkness
Mhm.
and concept darkness versus Marvel, which is lighter, more colorful.
Yeah.
And there's this like switch that's happening where Thunderbolts is going into like DC looking territory.
Yeah.
And now Superman is pretty bright and cheerful and colorful. And I don't know. It's everybody's dipping their hands into the other wells to try and see what they can get.
Well, speaking of the other well, there's the Fantastic Four First Steps,
That fucking name.
which is the film leading up to the next Avengers film for Marvel. They will not have another film until I believe it's Doomsday is the next one. This is Marvel's attempt at bringing the Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, onto the screen. It has Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal, Evan Moss-Baccarat, Joseph Quinn, and Julia Garner as Silver Surfer, she looks great. The trailers have been, I think, good. I don't know why people are getting upset about this. Like, I think it looked good, fine. I think this movie is going to make a crap ton of money. I think this is going to be like, honestly, like Guardians level for them, where it is going to make a crap ton of money, and people are going to forget all the movies that have been like, they're going to forget about that Captain America movie that came out. If Thunderbolts does underperform, I think this one's going to do really well. And then there's going to be this like reverse where we're all like, is Marvel dead? And then this one's going to do so well that they're going to be like, okay, now we're ready for the Avengers movie. I think that this movie is going to do really well for itself. Erik, you don't seem confident in it.
This is, I think it's going to benefit by having not really a lot around it. It's got a good, 2 weeks after Superman, and I mean, there's nothing really coming up next that's in the same realm as that.
Yeah,
So it has a really wide berth.
Mhm.
But something about it is giving me flop vibes, and not that I want. I mean, it looks like WandaVision meets the Jetsons.
Yeah.
I like the vibe.
This is from the director of WandaVision episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and it looks like WandaVision.
Yeah.
But there's something's not working with me in a way that I don't know. Is it like it might be Pedro Pascal or Joseph Quinn overkill? I don't know. Something feels off.
I've thought that too, Erik, and I wonder if, like, because I've tried to figure out, is it just because of all the problems that have plagued this particular group of characters? Like, every movie has just been like, every attempt at it has just not worked. And so I don't know if my feeling is just, oh, this is going to be like, these just don't work on the big screen, or if there is actually a deeper problem there. I'm not sure.
It might just be the characters,
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Incredibles is pretty much the Fantastic Four, right?
It is, but it works because it's an animated movie.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy that stretches just is the translation to a live action person doing it doesn't work as well as an animated version.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right.
The rock guy thing, whatever.
The thing.
Yeah, the thing. Like, that's just such a weird, like, it's just, yeah. I think these are very difficult characters to put on a movie screen and ask us to take seriously. And even though if the movie's tone isn't serious, you're still being asked to take the characters serious as real people. And I don't know if that works. And maybe they have found a way to make that work. And maybe this movie is going to be great. I hope that it is. Because, but
I mean, no shade on Cousin here, but like Michael Chiklis was perfect casting for the thing. You'll never do better than that.
yeah.
So the films that have led into Avengers movies, I just want to go over that real quick because
Yeah.
that's what this is.
Yeah.
Is you're talking about the Captain America: The First Avengers, which made $370 million, which would be a fail if this, I think, if this movie did those kind of numbers. The film before Age of Ultron was Guardians of the Galaxy. That made $773 million. Okay. Let's go to phase 3. Right before Infinity War, right? That was the next film, was this little movie called Black Panther. So when they lead their films leading into the next Avengers movies, they go all in.
However,
okay, go Karen.
well, I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry, you can finish your point. The thing is that with the Avengers movies that came before, we knew what we were leading up to. We knew where we were headed. We knew the characters that were going to be involved, and we were looking forward to those movies. Who knows anything about what's happening with the Avengers? Like the Doomsday, Tony, like not Tony, but RDJ is coming back
as Dr. Doom. Yeah.
Right. And people had not enthusiastic reactions to that.
That's very true. Yeah.
We're not that excited about the next Avengers movie, so I don't think that this is going to tell us anything about that one.
From what I've heard, there is a connection from Thunderbolts to Fantastic Four. And if Thunderbolts does well and it builds up that anticipation for 2 months, Dr. Doom is so important to the Fantastic Four. And that's the villain for the next Avengers film. I do think that they will tease that in this film somewhere.
There is a 100% chance.
Yeah, that he will be in a post-credit scene at best. And I do think that it's just like little stepping stones to previewing what will come. If anything, not
first steps.
First steps. There you go. But if not even an Avengers film, Ant-Man leading into Civil War is also a good example of this. Of just, they know how to get you ready for maybe not all their films, but they know how to get you ready for an Avengers film. And that Avengers film, when that comes out next year, is going to make a crap ton of money.
I hope it is such a colossal failure that Robert Downey Jr. just questions his entire life and goes into obscurity and never returns.
There you go. Tell us how you really feel.
Fuck that movie. But I'm not even like a crazy
Marvel guy,
Avengers Marvel person, but him coming back and doing this was so fucking lame.
It's such a comic book move, not a film move. And that's the difference I felt with post Endgame, is this disconnect between
Oscar
Marvel.
Meant nothing.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I was actually going to say, I had a conversation with a friend last year about how if he had not won the Oscar, maybe this wouldn't be happening, because he'd still be trying to do more serious work, and he wouldn't be stepping back into the Marvel.
I do think though it shows how desperate Marvel is for some sort of popularity continuity, that they are going back to him, dumping the truck, getting the Russos back to this, and trying to get the Infinity War Endgame band back together to try to make something good again. But honestly, it's a temporary fix, though. I think
it almost always works, though. Deadpool and Wolverine and the absolute litany of cameos in that worked. The audience went
Spider-Man No Way Home
crazy.
Yeah. Anytime they dip back into it, they make a crap ton of money. So
that was different. I think what Spider-Man did was much cooler.
No. I'm not saying that, in terms of quality. I'm just saying they are the same thing. They
It
are
is all the same thing.
Yeah, you know.
It's playing with the multiverse, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that, like, this is a different multiverse of Tony Stark kind of thing. So
Yeah.
The introduction of the multiverse is the worst thing that's ever happened in movies.
yeah, it's
Correct.
it really allows you to do pretty much anything, and there's no real
There's no
rules.
consequences.
None.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Nope. Stupid.
Eddington, which is going to be premiering at Cannes, the new Ari Aster
Yes.
film will be. We've seen a trailer for that. Karen looks super excited for it. Karen was
No.
we saw Karen. Karen was like, she was Big Bo is Afraid fan.
I gave myself permission after that movie to never watch an
Oh.
Ari Aster movie again.
Yeah,
So,
that's hopefully that's an anomaly in his.
I love.
I don't
Those
like
Afraid.
any of them. I
Oh,
don't
you
like
don't
any of
really?
his
even
movies, so,
Hereditary.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I love all of them. Oh my god,
Or
I'm a huge
Midsommar.
fan.
Okay.
I liked it better when it was called Rosemary's Baby.
There you go. I know what you did last summer. The reboot, remake, whatever.
It's a rebirth. It's neither because
It's
they're
something.
in it.
It's a legacy.
It's a sequel.
It's a
It's
legacy.
a legacy
reboot.
sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a
Um,
reboot. No.
No, it's a new group of
Yeah.
teenagers that do the same thing. And
Sarah
then
Michelle Gellar will be
Freddie
like, "Y'all
Prinze-
need help." You know what I mean?
They're
Freddie
doing the
Prinze
same thing with this
Jr.
that they did with Scream,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's exactly the same model as Scream.
Eric's favorite
including
movie.
using the same title again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like with
yeah.
Halloween too, right?
Mhm.
Eric's favorite film from Telluride and Mark's favorite from last year. Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight. Hits theaters. You remember that, gentlemen?
I don't think I saw that.
No.
that
Eric?
title.
That title,
Just-
rough.
It
You know
just
what I mean?
ugh,
Yeah.
it hurts my
Uh,
brain.
the movie, I will say, and this is going back to the
I know what
comments
this is gonna be.
made by Ted Sarandos this past week. Dude, you're the one hurting cinema more than anyone. You have Happy Gilmore 2 premiering on Netflix. That movie
Mhm.
would make a shit ton of money
Yeah, it really.
if it
would.
was in the theaters.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just like, well, Karen,
I
just like
mean-
you were telling me a couple years ago when they had Beverly Hills Cop 4,
Listen,
that would have made a good chunk of change, and that's built off nostalgia. Like, and
That one
Sandler
would have, I agree.
and
but
Sandler hasn't had films in theaters in a while. I think like an audience wanting to see Happy Gilmore, I think that would have done really
There's-
well.
there's a whole generation of people, we'll say, that I think have kind of given up on
Generous.
Yeah,
movies, right? That have kind of given up on movies that I think would be first in line to see this movie maybe more than once.
yeah.
I really think.
Even if
if
it's not
it's
good.
good. If it's good, they would see it more than
But-
once.
but
If
well,
it's
no, I mean,
terrible,
like,
it's-
remember-
then you have Dumb and
When
Dumber
is that a
2. You have
barometer for
With
a
Sandler.
Sandler movie?
with comedy sequels. It is
Oh, okay.
like
But
look at
where
when
they
they've
set the bar is way low though for like what we
Right.
look at. As,
I'm not saying it
right?
wouldn't make any money. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
don't know that this like if it's good, it would be a big hit. If it's not, I mean, it would make its budget back, and I think that's about it.
Are we gonna get a hologram Bob Barker like Yoda?
You know, I would not be
And,
surprised.
and what's his name?
I would say this, Karen, like
Chubbs?
Yeah,
Ben Stiller. He's right. He'll probably
yeah,
be in it.
yeah.
I will say
Oh
this,
my
Karen.
God.
If you're talking about like sequels for a Sandler movie, I think the comp for this would be like Grown Ups 2. That was an $80 million budget, and that made $250 million at the box office.
Jeez. I mean, he's a pretty
Well,
good draw.
Yeah, he is. Not for his
He
indie
was.
stuff. Not for his
It
indie
was.
stuff.
When did that come out?
2013.
Yeah, see that-
That was a
Yeah.
decade and a plus ago. What he's made all of his
Okay.
transition to
Yeah, he has
Netflix,
done a lot of-
you know, for his
I'm not
comedies.
saying that it wouldn't make money. I'm just saying it's not guaranteed that it would make a lot.
That's
of money.
fair. That's fair.
the basketball shorts community would definitely go and see that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
But they're also
That's-
not disappointed to stay home and watch it on their couch on
that's
Netflix
Mhm.
either.
That's fair.
and wait for a
sure.
cam rip.
All right. Going into the desolate month that is always August, though there's a couple of titles that could be good. We saw
Wait. Are we gonna just skip right over the untitled Angel Studios film that's coming out in July?
correct.
Yes.
Okay. Good-
Yeah,
good
'cause it's
enough.
What is
Untitled.
it with you? What is it with you and Angel Studios, Mark?
Yeah. Are you working for them?
It's so,
You
it's so It's so funny. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just so funny.
You keep trying.
You keep trying. He's like, can I review this Angel Studios movie? You know that
It's
can
a
go
sim-
right to the junk pile, buddy.
Right.
I keep
Oh, I
expecting
knew
him to
the
have like
answer.
a little pamphlet and just show us, can I interest you in a new Angel Studios movie?
Mark's gonna show up to your front door. Let me tell you the ways of Angel Studios.
For real.
Right.
Oh. An Angel Studios movie with Tom Cruise would be really hilarious. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay, now
cross promotions.
That's merging. That's merging a couple things.
That talk about a multiverse. You
That's
know
a
what I mean?
crossover.
those are two different streams. Those are not.
You can't
They
cross
cannot
them.
cross.
I know,
Don't
but
cross the stream.
well, wouldn't they cross? You know what I mean?
Oh,
So anyway,
oh,
yeah, there you go.
We have really devolved here.
We all saw the trailer. One of the more positive trailers that came out of CinemaCon was the trailer for the Naked Gun remake, and with Liam Neeson.
Not a remake.
Oh, it's
Also
a continuation.
It is
A legacy sequel, though. Yeah,
with the same title as the original.
exactly, with the same
Mhm.
title as the original. Because
Wow.
because Karen, I think that what they're saying is they think we're dumb. And oh my god, but it looked good, right? I thought it looked good. No,
Yeah.
no, nobody liked the OJ joke at the end, or
That was a great joke. Yes.
it's from who's directing? One of the Lonely Island guys are just directing the film.
Yeah.
I think it could be a fun August film, maybe in the 21 Jump Street. Not in terms of popular success. I'm just talking in terms of quality of film. I don't know if it'll make a lot.
I
of
mean,
money.
obviously, Liam Neeson playing on his own kind of taken persona in seriousness. It's the kind of thing to me that on paper was like, oh my God, I have this pitch. It's going to be so funny. It's Liam Neeson doing Frank Drebin. And you're like, oh my God, that totally makes sense. And then, I mean,
Yeah.
the trailer is there's something there's something missing, certainly, about Leslie Nielsen's delivery.
Yeah.
Which was serious, but not
Hard to follow.
aggressive.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson's his version is just doing Taken.
I also feel like it's just. I also feel like it maybe is a decade
Right.
too late. Like it should have been during the height of when he was doing Unknowns and Takens and all that, and it feels like it's a little too late to do all this. Maybe
Also
5
the-
years or 6 years too late. Not a decade, but
Not really, because
That's
he's
a-
still doing those kind of movies.
yeah, but nobody's watching them anymore is the problem. Like, they're all going direct to video now.
I also don't know if the type of comedy that The Naked Gun was in its time.
Yeah, the spoof is just
It's-
gone. You know?
I don't know. The things that you can do in 80s and 90s spoof comedies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Tell
know
us,
that you
Mark,
can
what
do
can you
today.
do in comedy that you can't do anymore?
All the
now?
things I miss so much. No, but seriously, about good comedies, good comedies used to push the needle a little bit, push the bar with what you could and could talk about, and they, at least I think, and this is a hard one I think to continue on with now.
Yeah.
What?
No, I think-
Interesting
Do we-
point, Mark.
I think Eric
Wait,
and
do
I.
we disagree? Do we?
No, I
disagree
think
with that?
Eric, you and
No,
I
no,
have
I'm
talked
just-
about before.
I'm just teasing you because you're going
Yeah,
like,
I know.
full
I
Elon
know.
here.
I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going, but it's kind of true about comedy. I think. That's why I don't know that we've really had. I mean, look at films like Blazing Saddles and stuff like that, right? Where there were a lot of things that were pushed and whatnot, but it was done, at least from maybe a straight white male point of view, it was done tastefully, and it was done where we could all laugh at each other. And I don't know that you can do that anymore.
I think
That's
that there's another factor in it too, Mark, and I
Yeah.
agree with you a little bit, is that the spoof movie doesn't exist because the spoof movie started to turn mean-spirited, and
Okay.
it started to not be more I think the original scary movie films had like affinity and love for those films, as well as also trying to make a comedy about those things too, rather than just like the disaster movie or epic movies where they just felt like they weren't even funny. They were just throwing it all together. And I do think with The Lonely Island, their comedy is very broad, and this is the same. I think it's I think Akiva's doing it. They also did the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers film that came out on Disney Plus during the pandemic. If you watch that film,
the Emmy-winning
TV
movie,
yes, and that film is kind of the comedy that we don't have anymore. I actually liked it a lot. It was able to make fun of pretty much the concept of IP, as well as also have a really fun story to go along with it. I do agree with you, Eric, though. It does seem like Liam Neeson's taking it way too serious, but it's also just a teaser. So a little bit like remains to be seen. I did think the OJ joke was really good. And that it's willing to make fun of just about anything, hopefully, is the thing. I think that's what you're hoping for, Marcus. That they're just have fun.
Let's just have fun. Have fun. Don't take it too seriously.
The thing about spoof movies is that they exist because they're spoofing on something recent that has become really big and maybe even too much of in pop culture. The original Naked Gun was making fun of police shows because tons and tons of police shows.
Yeah, it was.
Scary Movie making fun of Scream and the resurgence of horror movies. Disaster Movie, Not Another Teen Movie, even, which is actually really funny. But it was because that era was a glut of teen comedies. There's nothing happening right now that calls for Naked Gun to exist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Whatever jokes it's gonna make are going to be really dated. And who is it for?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what you do.
Spoof movies don't exist without something to.
Yeah, I mean, like the things nowadays. I mean, in terms of like that procedure, would be like the Netflix podcast stuff. Like what I mean, like the investigative podcasts. But it's like, haven't we already done that before? Hasn't that already been spoofed? It feels recently. What was that one show on Netflix where it was about the guy who got kicked off like out of school or whatever? And
American Vandal.
Yeah, it feels like American Vandal's already touched
Great show.
Great show.
And we've already had the superhero spoofs. And the boys.
The boys are doing that. Market Invincible.
So it's like, what is?
Yeah. I think they're bringing scary.
Naked Gun is just going to throw in 800 different movies.
Yeah.
That it's going to like make fun of, and it's going to have no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah. Karen,
that's a good point.
Well, I was just going to say all of that, and it like the danger is not just making fun of movies that are relevant, but making fun of the fans that enjoy them and that made them what they were, and that's where it gets very tricky to do good comedy and that's why so much of it feels mean-spirited and just doesn't work not because you can't make fun of certain things, but because you also don't want your audience to feel like you're telling them they're stupid for enjoying this thing.
I think though, Akiva Schaffer, who is directing the film, I haven't seen, like, when I watched the Chip and Dale's film, like that movie could have been like very, I wouldn't say mean spirited, but could have been very safe. And it was a very surprising film. I don't necessarily think his brand of comedy or the Lonely Island's brand of comedy is like that, but it is an R-rated film. It could go completely off the walls. Who knows?
If it's like half as good as Never Stop, Never Stopping, then
there you go. Yeah. But that movie also made like no money. So it
didn't matter.
But I think this might make a
Genius.
a decent. It's a great movie. I love that movie. There's Together, which was at Sundance, and it went to South by Southwest. This is the Dave Franco, Alison Brie horror film from Neon. Karen, did you catch this one?
I missed this one too.
I saw
but I
it.
heard very mixed things about it.
I saw it. I liked it. It's I mean, Dave Franco and Alison Brie are very good together, very hot couple, and the concept doesn't fully work all the way for me, but there are some really great scares, some really great moments in it. And
Tyler loved it.
Tyler loved it. But there is a movie that I am very curious about. We had a teaser last week for it, and this is Weapons.
Yeah.
This movie
sounds good.
It sounds good. Looks scary as hell. This is Zach Krieger's film. He's a follow-up from Barbarian, which is one of the better surprises over the last couple of years. Okay. And Erik and I were talking.
A good first half of a movie.
Yeah. Oh, didn't like this. Oh, okay. Erik and I were talking about this earlier. The way the kids run in this trailer terrify me probably more than anything I've seen so far this year.
I think this might be the thing I'm looking forward to most of anything all summer, because those brief shots of those kids running, and it's not just running, it is the arms out. There is something so terrifying about it. I can't even explain it, but it is. I have not seen anything as creepy, anything like all season.
Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich, Benedict Wong are the cast. Yeah,
it's a great cast.
This looks fucking terrifying.
It looks amazing.
Shout out to Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema actually putting this one in the theater, because Barbarian was a straight to home release. I don't think that went into the theaters. At least it didn't go into my theater, Karen.
I was gonna say I
did you see it in the theaters?
But now I can't remember if that was. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I thought it was. I thought it went straight there. I'm sorry. Maybe
I love Barbarian so much.
Very surprising film. Did not think I would enjoy it nearly as much as I did.
Erik, are you a big horror fan?
Sounds not specifically. I'm not like. I'm not scared by horror. I'm scared by thrillers, so that's why those moments in that teaser were really scary. Gore and stuff like that does not do anything for me in a scary way. It does like in a creative, like this is great makeup kind of way. But I'm never, it doesn't really, that's why I like the Final Destination things. They don't scare me. But like ideas scare me. The idea of a shard of glass in
my god
icy drink
in that trailer, man.
That's the thing that's what like gets in your brain less than like the actual. It's the anticipation of fear.
That's why you drink with a straw.
Is often the scarier part.
Yeah.
So
by the way, Ryan, Barbarian made $45 million.
Okay, thank you, Karen. I was thinking of Malignant. I'm sorry. I apologize. I like Malignant a lot.
I'm waiting for a sequel for that.
Yeah, that one. Need that.
Put Gabriel and Mother together. Let them fight.
Gabriel and Megan, let them fight. You know what I mean? Want to see it. We have Freakier Friday. Speaking of Erik's favorite, Jamie Lee Curtis, this movie looks bad, guys. I'm sorry. This looks rough. There's no way to say anything nice about it other than it looks rough. Nobody 2, which is Bob Odenkirk kicking people's ass again. Nobody was like a John Wick ripoff. And that's pretty much it. We have Honey Don't, which is the Ethan Coen film that comes out. At the premiere at Cannes with Margaret Qualley and Chris Evans, and then Venice and Telluride, and that's really it.
Oh, you're forgetting about the new Ron Howard
Eden
with Jude Law and Darmus Eden from Vertical Entertainment.
You never know.
Come on, Ryan.
I never know. Nobody liked that movie, Mark.
Wow. People saw it. People saw it. Really?
It's at Toronto, and like nobody
Okay.
Wasn't it like the opening film at Toronto?
No, that sounds familiar.
It sounds.
I don't know, but I don't think it was opening, but maybe it was.
It was like, but it had like that opening.
But everybody hated it. Yeah,
everybody
making fun of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And that's the summer. Okay.
There is more.
Oh, what's more? Yeah. What?
Caught stealing the roses. The
Bad
Toxic
Guys
Avenger.
2.
Oh, that's right.
Bad Guys 2.
No, these are
Bad Guys 2. I'm excited about.
Do your homework, Ryan.
Well, why don't you talk about the roses, Erik? Because we did get that trailer literally this past week.
I do actually want to talk about the roses because I absolutely hate that fucking trailer. I love Olivia Colman and I love Benedict Cumberbatch. They cannot hold a candle to Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner in whatever they are doing in this remake.
Who's the one that looks miscast the most here in this trailer? Because I can't put my finger on which one it is.
I think it's Coleman because her cheery demeanor is, which I understand, that is like the Olivia Colman thing, but underneath she's, just being mean and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
No. The reason why the original worked is because when they delivered those lines, there was just pure hatred. There was no sunny disposition hiding it. It was just vile hatred, and it was perfect, and it was super fucking sexy too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
This looks like
no offense to the Cumbies and the Libbies or whatever they call themselves. This is not going to be a sexy movie.
Yeah, I love both of these people, but no, it's not. No,
I love them both.
Written by Tony McNamara, who did Poor Things and The Favorite. Maybe just a bad trailer, hopefully.
It's some of the worst green screen I've ever seen in just a regular movie too. Every time it's supposed to be San Francisco and like the Bayview, I'm like,
you're on
the fuck out of here.
You're on an Atlanta soundstage, folks.
I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It's all London. Every bit of it's London. Yeah. But I'm just
Karen, you looking forward to Caught Stealing?
No.
Okay, good.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, kind of yes. The thing about Aronofsky is I'm always interested in his movies and I always think this is going to be the one. And then I
turns you.
I never end up enjoying them ever.
I just remember.
I always want to.
Remember that
I haven't given up on him.
You and I sat there at Middleburg together and we watched The Whale. And Karen and I just looked at each other and we were like, absolutely not. We were just like, fuck this.
Oh my gosh, that whole experience. Oh
yeah, that was rough. And then we had to like go to the after party afterwards. I was like, man, I need a drink.
Well, I ran into Brendan Fraser out in the hall immediately after seeing it, and I was just like, hey, like, I don't even know what to say to you right now.
Good job,
Yeah, but I feel that way about every Aronofsky movie. I go into it intrigued and I'm curious. I want to, I'm very looking forward to it, and then I never come out feeling like I am so glad I had that experience.
I'm looking forward to seeing Austin Butler. That's probably the level of my anticipation, just to see why he chose the project and what's it all about.
I like Matt Smith's.
He looks wild.
Sex Pistol-y vibe
look
there.
Yeah,
it's good cast.
Aronofsky, for better or for worse,
mostly for
he
worse.
He takes the wildest swings.
Yeah, that's
his filmography is so crazy. Nothing makes sense. Yeah. Looking at all of these things together, nothing makes sense.
No,
which is not to say that he should, be like Wes Anderson, make the same kind of movie. He doesn't have to have a singular vibe, but there's
like thematically.
It just feels like I want to try something, and because they're going to let me, I'm just going to do it.
Somebody's finally said yes.
It's kind of like Soderbergh, where every movie is so different from each other, and the filmography is just kind of all over the place. It's just, in this case, Soderbergh works for me and Aronofsky doesn't. But I still always am interested in seeing what he's going to do. I always have that curiosity. It's not like other filmmakers where I've been like, I've tried it. This is just not a person that's going to work for me. Aronofsky, I'm always still willing to give it a shot.
Is there no Aronofsky film you like?
No.
Really?
Including Black Swan.
I really like The Wrestler.
I'm not saying any of his movies are bad. I just don't. Yeah. I don't enjoy them.
I rewatched Black Swan. Oh,
definitely not Requiem.
I love Requiem so much,
I think that's great.
What about Mother? No on Mother.
Oh, I like Mother.
Best Jennifer Lawrence performance of her career.
It absolutely is. I think that's the one that is probably
okay.
Yeah, like I mean, that's the one where I actually liked more than others, but yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
His more recent things have been a little harder for me, but he has a few that I really love.
He makes good movies. I just don't like them.
Okay.
And then the Toxic, like Erik mentioned, Toxic Avenger,
Which is finally getting released like
Finally,
2 years
later, from its Fantastic Fest premiere.
Was it only
Yeah.
2 years ago? It seems so long.
Seems so long
Yeah,
ago.
it does. It feels like a relic of the pandemic that just did that really happen?
Yeah, I kind of feel bad that it's just been like shelved and shelved and shelved and shelved. And it got a really good reception out of Fantastic Fest. So it wasn't like this was like
Oh,
well, I mean, it's still a
good. I don't know about really good.
I mean, it was a positive reception. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
that's accurate.
We got better reviews than Eden that you mentioned a couple minutes ago.
It's a
so-
Ron Howard movie. How do you not mention a movie from
Yeah.
Ron Howard? So hot off the studio right now.
I mean, we don't have to.
And the bootlicking they did over A Beautiful Mind. Ugh.
Well, Eden's probably the same quality as the studio, so not very good.
Wait, you guys don't like the studio?
Oh, Ryan hates the
I
studio.
don't like the studio.
I hate the studio.
I haven't
yeah.
started
I was-
watching it yet.
I thought I was alone. on
Good
it.
job,
I just-
Mark. You finally
I just
got
think-
one today. There you
I
go,
just-
buddy.
I
You
hate
finally
everything.
figured
What
it
the
out.
hell? But no, that show drove me insane. I could only get through the first, I think, 3 episodes, and then I was just like, I can't.
I went through the whole
Yeah.
thing just to see if it ever turned, and it never did. So much like
Yeah.
Karen with Darren Aronofsky, I gave it a shot, and it disappointed me highly.
There's a couple shows like that that everybody seems to love that I've tried, but I'm struggling with.
Oh, we'll have to talk.
I won't mention the other one.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get canceled.
It apparently set the whole group off against me. So I was like, back
Oh,
away.
good. We'll have to do a poll podcast just for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to wrap things up here. I want to get maybe everybody did it, but if you guys could give me what you think are going to be maybe the top 3 films at the box office this summer, and just say then and remind everybody again what your most anticipated film of the summer is going to be. So Mark, we'll start with you. Top 3 at the box office and your most anticipated.
So my top 3 was Jurassic Park, How to Train Your Dragon, and Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
And my most anticipated, God, that's hard. It's hard not to say the Mission Impossible film, but I think I'll say F1. Just I don't know. Or God, Eddington. I don't know. Don't ask me that yet. I'm not ready.
Or 6 other films.
I don't know yet. There's a lot I'm excited about, as always.
Erik?
I think Jurassic World will be the top box office, then Lilo and Stitch. And I think there's potential for Mission Impossible to do that, to go past Fallout. But that 3-hour
Yeah.
runtime is gonna hurt it.
Yeah.
The IMAX will help it, but the 3-hour runtime is going to absolutely hurt its ability to.
Yeah. This
to
ain't
have,
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
It's
Less showings.
Yeah, just less
that,
showings.
Right? Less
So
showings.
so honestly, I think maybe Superman might be the one to
Good.
do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'm looking forward to most is none of that. The
It's that
Materialists
song
and
movie,
weapons.
Materialists
you
and
seemed really
weapons.
excited about Materialists. So.
Karen?
Yeah, I think Jurassic World is going to take that top spot. I think Lilo and Stitch is going to be up there. And then I think you guys have said a couple of really good possibilities for number 3. I think I'm leaning toward. I think I'm agreeing with Erik. I think if Superman comes out swinging, I think it really could be one of the top of the summer. So I'm going to go with that one. And then as far as what I'm looking forward to most, I mean, we've kind of already talked about all the ones that I'm looking forward to, but I think by the end of the summer, I think the movie that's probably going to be the one that meant the most to me and that was my favorite is Materialists.
Okay.
Over Mission Impossible, huh?
Yeah,
All right.
Me and Karen are vibing.
that's
Yes.
right.
Love it.
I think that How to Train Your Dragon will be the number one film at the box office. I think kids' movies are killing it right now.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
hard to
think,
bet against those.
and the high praise for it already puts it a little bit over Jurassic at this point. Also, I think Jurassic, while yes, the dinosaurs are important, you have to have somebody in there that's recognizable for that franchise. And so it might be, that's why I have it at like 2 or 3. And I think, and I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Fantastic Four First Steps is going to be in the top 3. I think Marvel's going to have they're going to have a top 10 film with Thunderbolts, and then they're going to have those movies that lead into the Avengers do exceptionally well, and the buildup for this thing is going to be huge. It also has a runway for itself, and it doesn't have to push off other screens. The thing about Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch is they have to battle each other on the same weekend, and then there's this little bit of a turnaround before Jurassic comes out, or even Ballerina, or How to Train Your Dragon. So I think Fantastic Four is in that good mid-July run where it can just be by itself. But I think Mission's going to do well. And then I'm looking forward to Materialists, Weapons, and I'm very curious about Superman because I kind of want it to be good, and that's that movie. Just I hope it's good. I hope we have a good Superman for once. It would be nice to have that. And everything.
What do you mean for once?
We haven't had one
since Superman,
since Christopher Reeves.
Okay.
We haven't had a good Superman, in my opinion. They've
been decent, but
they've been like, yeah.
I want Batman's Dark Knight, right? Like that's what
you want, like a Dark Knight for Superman, is what you're saying.
That's what they tried with Man of Steel. It was good.
No.
The thing about Superman is I don't like this dark Superman idea. I want the fun, happy.
I don't mean darkness.
Optimistic person.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of
darkness. I mean, I want a Dark Knight,
but still hates
Superman,
Republicans.
Prestige level. Like I want one that people revere.
I think, Karen, I think that's kind of the vibe I'm kind of getting a little bit from the trailer, is like it seems more playful rather than super serious, like the Snyder film. And I'm hoping
it seems a little less Christ-likey vibe.
Yeah.
But Superman kind of always gets that.
He's Jesus.
But coming down, and light behind him and the silhouette and the whole bookend thing. I'd be so cool to like not have that.
Also, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Smash.
That's fun.
Yeah, very smash.
Absolutely.
Mark, can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet?
Mark likes movies on whatever it's called, X.
Does he though?
Listen,
debatable.
3 or 3.5 stars means I liked it. Damn it.
You do, Mark. You do mostly just a 4-star system on Letterboxd, right? So
No, I do 5, but 5's impossible.
5's impossible.
You're not
4.5
5 for me.
4.5's really tough too, right?
4.5 has happened. I think I have Moonlight and La La Land and like some of those kind of films.
But what I'm saying is like if you give something a 3, that's still like a good movie.
I gave Sinners a 3 at first. I've moved it to a 3.5, and I loved Sinners. So that to me that is a good movie.
Tough grader.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, that's fair.
You gotta have a scale. Like I can't compare Sinners to, I don't know, Network, and I can't compare Network to The Godfather for me. So like there's separation of. Anyway, I can go a whole.
Yeah, no, we have. Yeah, we're wrapping up.
Or segregation. I don't know.
All right.
No questionable.
I should have used other films. Fine.
Yeah.
Separate but equal, right? That's what you're
saying.
Oh wait,
Separate,
no, that's
not
not.
equal.
That's not right either.
Eric, I think you gotta. Yeah, you might need it.
The ratings are.
Take a break, buddy. Jesus Christ. Karen, can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet?
I can try. You can find my written work at awardswatch.com. I have some recent reviews there and more coming, including the Thunderbolts. And you can find me on social media at Karen M. Peterson. Where am I? Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd.
Erik Anderson.
You can find me on the canceled list for this summer for the last 2 minutes of this podcast. But
This whole episode.
Before that, awardswatch.com, Twitter at awards_watch, awardswatch everywhere else. Yeah, we are gearing up for Cannes. We're gearing up for what will be the phase 1 of Emmy season. So we'll have lots of predictions and interviews, written and video, including starring Karen herself. Yeah, lots to come.
And we'll start having Oscar predictions for next season come
Oh my
up on the
God.
website soon.
I'm starting them
Ow.
now.
Yeah.
Start?
Oh.
I'm
we
starting
didn't
them
start.
now.
We didn't start that in March.
I mean, you
Yes.
did, yeah.
Yes, you did,
Yes.
Mark.
Yeah,
That's
you
fine.
did. Where was Sinners on your list?
Yeah.
I don't know that it's a sure bet to get in. So I don't
I know, I'm
if
just
jump in
teasing
that.
you.
Okay.
Well, Mark, if
Well,
you
you're-
don't have it in
but
right now,
listen,
people are going to
listen,
destroy
listen.
you.
Oh,
You know?
people are
When you
going
do- when you
crazy
do-
for it right now.
I know, a little bit ridiculous, but when
It's a
you do
little bit.
March predictions, you take it. It's like with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Well,
real predictions, I think
It's like a
start
whole
in
salt
August.
lick that you give a horse.
Right.
Like that's how much.
I think
salt it is.
like
You
at
just,
least
you just have fun with it.
yeah, I
right?
think like June, like July, August after Cannes and
Yeah.
some stuff is
when
solidified
we
in the
start
summer.
getting trailers,
Yes.
when we get
Yes,
start to
yes,
get
yes,
to
yes.
look at the movies, that's when it starts.
When we
to
start
get
knowing
real.
what's going to go to Venice and
Yeah.
and
And
all the
Cannes-
fun and
Cannes now
Toronto, yeah, and
Cannes has
Cannes.
helped a lot the last.
Yeah.
few
And
years,
is the
so-
key.
Cannes
Yeah.
is key.
Agree.
You can
Excited
find
to
me.
hear what you guys think.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky at Ryan McQuade 77. If you like podcasts that are just as deranged as this episode today, you can listen to Director Watch, and you can hear us talk this week about Heavenly Creatures. We are in the middle of our Peter Jackson movie series. I'm super excited about it. It's with the great Jesse Nussman. We had a wonderful podcast. We talked about that film extensively, and then we also had some fun tangents as Karen and Erik, and sometime soon we'll get Mark on there to
One
talk
day.
about. One day we'll get Mark on there. Those shows can go off the rails, and we've been having a fun time already recording the Peter Jackson series. Next week, Karen and I will be back. We're going to be talking about Thunderbolts extensively and see if Marvel has a hit or if they failed again. We'll find out. We'll let you
luck.
all know. So first film of the summer, Cannes stuff right around the corner, like Erik said. You want to find all that, go over to the website, sign up for the newsletter. It's the best place to get all the news, reviews, interviews, and everything all in one place. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.